Today's podcast is with the passion fighter, David A. Jones. David is the co-founder of the Presto Music School and the owner of the incredible passion app, Presto Music. David's been teaching and producing music for many years now, and he also runs multiple schools up and down the UK. Until recently, he never felt the urge to go online, but then he found Passion.io and he created a blended learning experience online and offline. He's discovered the power of the app. So today in the podcast, we're going to be talking about how does David create content, why he strikes the right balance between giving your students what they want and giving them what they need. And we're going to be talking about the importance of finding the right audience for your product, how to do that, where to find them, and why they actually might not be who you think they are. It's a great show. Enjoy this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Passion to Profession podcast. Very excited to be here with David A. Jones. David, how are you doing?
Hey, Dan. Good to see you.
Lovely to see you as well. Guys, I'm very excited because David has been absolutely crushing it with the Expert Unleashed Challenge, with his project. Some of you have probably seen this in the community. 26 sales out of 25 calls. Yeah, you heard that right. 26 sales out of 25 calls. More sales than calls somehow. So David is founder of Presto Music School. He's had a long career in music, composing music for cinema, adverts, and teaching others his craft at Presto Music Schools up and down the UK. David is also a passion fighter who's been building his passion app, and he's seen this amazing success, netting over £10,000 already. And so we're going to be talking about the trials, tribulations, successes, and hurdles that David has overcome to bring his coaching content mobile. So, David, how are you doing today? Having a good day?
Today's good. As you can see, you calling me from space here as normal. I spend most of my life in here, so today's just like any other day. To be honest, it could be stormy out there. It could be 30 degrees and sunshine. I have no idea. But,
you don't have a single window, right?
No, we do not in the control room. We do actually out in the rest of the studio, but there are no windows out here. So
keeping it zen. I love it.
I lead quite a pasty-faced life. Yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, I see a bunch of you tuning in already live. So give us a hashtag live if you're watching right now. If you're here in the future, then as in you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay as well. David, let's kick off by, can you first explain a little bit about yourself and what Presto Music School is and really what you've been doing with passion?
Of course. So myself and my co-directors, we set up Presto in 2003. It actually started from the course. We were initially commissioned by the London College of Music and Casio to write their keyboard course. I'd worked with Casio in the past, and I'd headed up a variety of educational programs through Technics and Panasonic back in the day. So they came to us because they enjoyed our work and what we were doing and how we were putting it out there. And so we wrote the course book. London College of Music loved it. They rubber stamped it, and out it went into the world. So the course actually came before the school. We then went on to build the school around it. Our plan initially actually was to be the Northwest, first choice for keyboard lessons by the end of 2 years in or something. Within 6 months, we'd actually become the largest school in Europe, which was a bit mad. It went very quick. That was purely just through the amount of numbers of students that we were teaching. It was good. It was good, but of course it's hard work, especially in the current climate, to sustain any kind of positive intent that you've got going on in the world. It is hard at the best of times to keep that positive message going. And of course, then COVID hit and shook the cage a little bit, to say the least. So we were looking for something to assist us in keeping the message going in a safe manner, of course. So we found Passion. In fact, what was really interesting, Dan, was I'd actually told my co-director Tim. I told him that one of our challenges would be to come out of COVID stronger than we went in. And I'd researched, I think there was 12 of them in total. I did 12 different calls or different training seminars whereby we would bring our product to the world in some way, shape, or form. And in all honesty, and this, and you know the outcome, because here we are now. So you know which one I went for. It was Passion, by the way. But yours was the one whereby I thought, well, I'll do this because I've signed up for it anyway. Because we don't need an app. What do we want an app for? That's not how we work. We don't work like that. 8 minutes in, 9 minutes in, I was sold. Yeah, because you think to yourself, well, what is an app? How do we possibly get what we have and fit that to an app? I thought, well, that's not. It's just not going to work. Dan, it wasn't the app. It wasn't the system. It was the ethos behind the whole Passion company, because there was a real synergy. Everything we are is positive. In fact, this whole Positively Presto hashtag that we got going was something that had been going on beforehand, just in our ethos. And then the training systems that go with Passion, very, very much, the final product being so much bigger than the sum of its parts. Again, I mean, I shared with my my co-director the fact that I felt that the training alone was worth what we'd invested in Passion in the first place. As you can imagine, our school's been running for a long, long time. We've done 1 or 2 training seminars. We thought we knew a thing or two about what we were doing, and we were always keen to learn more, and that's why we're always sort of, researching and so on and so forth. But Dan, I just love I know it sounds like a bit like an advert for Passion, but I recommend Passion. Because it works. And the thing is as well, what was quite neat is that, yes, we do have to adapt the training systems to fit our niche. We do have to adapt the training systems to suit the messages that we're trying to put across, but not by much. We're just putting our little bit of spin on it, but for 95% of it, Dan, we're just follow the message, say this here, say it that, and it's worked well. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Oh, dude, thank you. What I love is what I love probably most about Passion. You talked about like this overall message, and I love that, even not fully intentionally, but for whatever reason, that attracts other people who have the same worldview, like yourself and others in the community, and it creates this community. And for example, I have Mary in the comments here saying, David has helped me so much already. Go David.
Is this Mary E. Smith?
It is. There you go.
Mary.
See what I mean? Like, this community is just awesome. The fact that everyone is helping each other out, and so I want to thank you for being such an active part of that and contributing so much. Can you explain a little bit about, like, what is the Presto Music app aimed to achieve? Who does it help, and what does it help them to achieve?
I think its aim is one of the reasons why it's become so successful as well, because when with this whole business about inch wide, mile deep, 2 right, absolutely. So if I had to choose our ideal customer is actually our youngest son, Charlie. He's 14. He wants to be a rock star. He's going about it in the right way. He's a demon guitarist. Dan, you should hear him. We should get him on here. He's a cracking guitarist. He's doing such a good job. Sometimes loses, a little bit of focus. Need some help in that regard. Need some encouragement off the Xbox. Little bit too much of Fortnite going on. You know the struggles. So we needed something to really sort of draw him in. So doing something online and trying to keep it light and bright and so on. We know who that ideal customer is. But we realized that what we were creating was actually something so much more than inch wide, mile deep, providing that we stayed focused and true to the training by yourself. So aim for our Charlie, but always have an eye on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture for us was that our app was actually going to help anybody to play an instrument, whether you played guitar, whether you sang, whether you are a drummer, whether you are a pianist, whatever the case may be. How are you going to read a book in a different language if you don't speak that language? I could sit down and I could read to you a book in, let's choose a language that I don't, right, so I don't speak Spanish. hardly a word. I could order 6 beers and that's about the sum total of that. The important, let's get our priorities right. But I could read a book to you in Spanish. I could say it out loud. I have no understanding of it whatsoever. How are we going to sit and play piano if I've learned the dots? I can physically do it because that's been my traditional piano lesson. But if I don't understand the language, how am I actually really going to bring it to life? How am I going to make great speedy progress? Well, that's what the app's all about. The app teaches you theory from day one, right up to grade 5 theory is the first level. So 12 weeks to grade 5 theory. And it works for any instrument, as I say. And it means that the person who's doing the course, our subsequent music theory mastery customer, can absolutely apply all the things that we teach them, but put it into practice. So yes, we focus on Charlie. We focus on our 14-year-old student who wants to be a rock star and get good at their instrument. But we're mindful of the bigger picture. So that's who it is.
That's great. And for those watching as well, thinking about your niche and you know, are you niche enough and all that sort of thing. One thing that sometimes people don't, I think, or maybe I can't fully, I haven't fully explained it properly before as well, is like, if you are selling a more generic product like weight loss or, you know, be more confident, then of course the most, you have to be super niche with who you're talking to actually be heard. But another way of being very niche is with the offer itself, because, you know, up to grade 5 music theory already cuts out is 100% wrong for 98% of people, because they don't want to get to grade 5 music theory, right? So it's, you know, you can actually afford to be a little bit more loose with the person you're targeting if your offer is, you know, as niche as that. Yeah. So guys watching, if you have just tuned in, because a bunch of you have, then give us #live so we know that you're here. We're here with David A. Jones. And if you have any questions for him, please pop them in the chat, because we will get to them later on in the podcast. That's the great thing about a live podcast. I love it. So next question for you, David, is what was your main focus when creating the content? Like, how did you actually make sure that you were filling a need and a want all in one go?
The trouble we have seen over and over again when we talk face to face in our schools, we will rocket the students up the practical side of things, and we teach theory at the same time. So we've constantly drip fed the theory all the way through that. But of course, the students' need and want is that they want to be playing their instrument. So we can only put in so much theory and keep it interesting. And this is how we've managed to teach tens of thousands of students over the years. with an amazing success record. You know, we have an outstanding record of success with both London College of Music exams, Rock School exams, and ABRSM exams, which we're very proud of. But we have to pitch it in some way to keep their interest. So we actually run our grade 5 theory course as a separate thing, so that once the student realizes, hang on a minute, I actually could do with this theory thing, then we do it as a separate thing. And so trying to balance those has been a very, very key thing for us. As students get to GCSE though, we have seen over and over again that students could do with a bit more support on the composition side, and with composition being something that is my absolute big passion in life. I'd just love to write music. If it hadn't been for composition, I'd have packed it in, Dan. I enjoyed playing piano to a level when I was a kid, but it was composition that kept me going. That was the thing that I wanted to do. So we support our students by teaching them grade 5 theory, but putting composition in there throughout. So right from lesson 1, we get students composing, so that, you know, the students are living and breathing the composition. So, you know, what are those needs and wants? Yes, well, people realize that they might need grade 5 theory because you can't really progress efficiently with your music studies unless you have good theory skills. You need to be fluent. You need to be using the language all the time. And of course, if you're composing with it, then you are living it, breathing it, you're speaking the language. And when students get to GCSE, they need that support all the more because they're going to actually have to use it now. So we kind of just marry these two things up and help students through GCSE as well as the grade 5 theory exam itself.
Nice. Yeah, we talk about this a lot, you know, sell what people want and give them what they need, right? So I think it's fantastic you're doing that. How do you like position this as a unique offer? You know, like, what is your game changer? What is the thing that sets this apart from everything else in the market? Because, you know, if I think about, let's say, are you marketing, by the way, to the parents or to the kids? Who are you actually targeting?
Well, this was one of the things that I was a bit concerned about before we actually started developing the systems. I'd started the training, but I still didn't know which of our many different courses we would actually put into Passion. So we are already designing, developing, recording and filming our guitar course. But which would we do first? Would we do our music theory mastery? Yeah. Would we do the guitar course? Would we do our keyboard course? Would we do our little Presto course? There are so many different aspects, you know, which one would we choose? The music theory one was chosen first because it is so unique at the moment. The others we will put our own unique spin on, but it was very clear that we could capitalize on so many USPs, unique selling points, that our music theory mastery course has, because we don't just teach theory. Theory can be seen as such a snooze fest. Who wants to learn about a treble clef if you're not going to do anything with it?
Right.
No disrespect to any other education system or teacher I have ever had, okay? You know, full credit to all my teachers, absolutely. But I remember when I was 8, I've got my very first theory book, and I'm just learning. I'm learning FACE, I'm learning face, the spaces in the treble clef, and I'm learning Every Good Boy Deserves Football. Yeah, I'm only playing C, 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 or whatever it is I'm playing at the time. So it was completely out of context. I was learning stuff over here as random as hamster breakfast gravy. It may as well have been, because it was out there somewhere, and I was learning C. It was two different things. So what we did was we did music theory and apply it straight away, as I was saying before about the composition. So what we've done is, in our Passion products, we have included for all our music theory mastery students the grade 5 theory course, plus crash course in composition, plus aural skills level 1, plus practical applications of music theory, plus basic keyboard skills. So what we've done is we've done like a whole one-stop solution. Do you want to be a better musician? Great. Load up music theory mastery, and you will be able to listen to music and work it out. Who doesn't want to be able to do that? You know, if you're a pianist and you want to really push your skills forward, you might be learning tons of stuff off the dots. But wouldn't it be great to just be able to sit down and play whatever you want to do? Somebody says to you, Dan, have you ever played the theme tune to The Simpsons? And you can say, no. But it goes like this, and then you just sit and play it, you know, because you just sit and play because you sing it in your head and play what you're singing. Done.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Well, download Music Theory Mastery and find out.
I love that. You're selling the benefit, right? Like, I absolutely love that. I saw an advert yesterday for a solution where it was possible to get a title. Like, I could be Lord Daniel Harvey. My girlfriend could be Lady Jessica Taylor, right? You buy like a square meter of some island off Scotland, I think, and you get this title, right? And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. But then I read the copy and they said, don't you hate waiting in airport lines? Imagine if you were a lord. Do you think they would skip you right to the front? And who knows if they would or not, but the point is they're selling the benefit of having this stupid title rather than just the fact that you've got this title, right? And that's what you're doing there, where you're saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if someone says, hey, can you play the theme tune to The Simpsons? And you can just say yes, even though you've never played it before. That's the outcome. I love that.
If you can sing it in your head, you'd be able to do it. The amount of times when our students have said, oh, can we do such and such by, can we do Raw by Katy Perry? So, for example, the very first time that somebody said that, so you just sit and play it, and they go, wow, as somebody else asked, well, no, but what I'm doing, I'm just singing the tune in my head and I'm playing what I'm singing. And like, how do you do that? Let me show you. And that's what the app does, amongst all the other things.
I love that. As an aside, I was at an event the other day where a Spanish friend of mine was playing guitar at like an outdoor cafe type restaurant thing, and someone came up and they were drunk and they were like, "Can you play Despacito?" And my friend was like, "Oh no, sorry, I don't know how to play Despacito." And afterwards, I said, like, "You really don't know how to play Despacito?" He was like, "Of course I do. I just don't want to play it." So that's a nice little, you can play anything that you can sing in your head, but you can also pretend you can't if you don't want to.
Yeah, you choose.
Exactly. Hey, tell me about the future, right? Like, tell me about what you want to achieve with Presto and the app, in the next 6-12 months.
Well, everything we do is customer focused. So whether we are teaching at our studios or whether we're teaching online, customer first, both their experience, their journey, everything. And so in so many ways, as the school enjoys success, it's enjoying success as a result of the student success. We are only ever as good as the students that we produce. And as a result, if we push ourselves further, our students will succeed more, and therefore the school as a unit in its own right will succeed. Now, granted, there is a business element to that. There has to be, because if the business side of the school is a failure, then the whole thing falls apart. That's the fundamental building block behind
right.
what's going on with the school. But our next thing will be that we will put the guitar course into Passion, which we're looking forward to doing. And it's interesting. One thing that lockdown has showed us was that we did a lot of our lessons remotely, but some students didn't want to do that. It wasn't for everybody. They were looking forward to getting back to face-to-face lessons. And when we went back to face-to-face, granted, COVID safe, we were very, very careful in the way that we teach. But some students were happy to get back to face-to-face lessons, and some students wanted to carry on online because they felt safe. So now we have the ability to do both. So guitar will come next, then our keyboard course. A Little Presto is for 3 to 6 year olds, and Little Presto is actually what was the forerunner to one of our exciting up and coming projects, which is our cartoon. So a few years back, we pitched our idea to possibly the premier animation studio. Hey, if you don't venture these things, Dan, you'll never find out. So I went to Cannes. Went to meet up with Sparky Animation Studios, who are one of Disney's co-pro studios. They make Jim Henson's Dinosaur Train. They make Disney's Miraculous Ladybug, Disney's Henry Hugglemonster. They make a few cartoons. They're just awesome. So I pitched the idea to them. They signed us up. So for the last few years, we have been designing, building, and so on Rhythm Warriors, which is our astonishing, eye-popping cartoon, which is a music education program. It's action adventure. Children won't watch it because it's music education. That sounds like the biggest snooze fest for a 4-year-old ever. So we capture their interest first and foremost. But at the same time, they will be reading and understanding up to GCSE level rhythmic notation. So you'll have a 4-year-old who's never had an official music lesson in their life, but by the time they've watched a few episodes of Rhythm Warriors, they would be able to sit down and sight read GCSE level rhythmic notation. Crazy.
Wow, that is awesome. And what is your role in that? Are you creating all of the music, or are you also like helping with like designing on the animation side, or like what is your role in that? So cool.
Well, I first came up with the idea and then sent it to Sparky, and so my awesome friend, the CEO of Sparky Animation, Mr. KC Wong, he and I have worked on the show together with his team. For the last 5 years or so. And so I am exec producer, but and yes, I do. I mean, I do make a few decisions on the graphics side, but they're better off choosing that. Don't get me drawing, Dan. No chance. Not a good idea. No, I write all the music. We record it here in the studio. And yeah, I helped to piece the show together, but we really do bring in the best people for that. So that's fantastic. Had the honor of working with Mr. Dwayne Capizzi, the guy who writes Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's the guy who put the show together, and we now have signed Mr. Ian Carney, Disney and BBC legend scriptwriter. I tell you these things because one of the things that we'll do with Rhythm Warriors is use the Passion.io app to bring the education side out to the world. So we'll look forward to that as well.
So you'll have like a Rhythm Warriors app or a Rhythm Warriors product in your app?
Yeah, it'll certainly use, so there'll be Rhythm Warriors separate thing, but yeah, the Little Presto bit, which is the education part, will use Rhythm Warriors within it. Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So cool. You know, one question I have for you that I think will also help those watching both live and in the replay is like, what gave you the internal permission to pitch to a huge animation house, having, I guess, never produced an animation series before? What did you not struggle with imposter syndrome there? And I don't mean to sound I'm sort of giving the internal dialogue of what myself or maybe someone else might tell themselves, right?
So a few years back, I learned the power of a very, very important word. Yes. People might say, so I was once asked, as I was working very closely with a particular company at the time, and their industry was properly about to fall off a cliff. there was an opportunity. Somebody said, "Oh, can you?" Yes, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and now work out how to do it. Say yes first, and because it gives you the inspiration, it gives you the drive to push forward. And so when researching, how does some lad from Warrington, the idea of going from just doing this to doing what appears to be beyond the stars, get a TV show out and work with a major animation studio. It's crazy. But by research, meeting with the right people, and also meeting with the wrong people, but you never know at the time, and you just have to keep putting yourself out there. Yes, yeah, positive. When someone, one of the problems is that you don't know which one is the time stealer. But that one meeting could be the thing that takes you to the next level. And by approaching every day with, well, today is, just the next step on the road to success. In fact, there's a sign in the studio. It says, in fact, I think I'm going to cut. Let me read you this. You stay there.
I'm staying.
Hang on. It says. It's on the wall. I have to explain to everyone. It's on the wall. Okay. And it says that mistakes are only happy little errors. It says do not drill behind this because there's a main cable behind it. The important thing is that when things are going wrong, we just see them as happy challenges. They're just obstacles which we learn from, and as we learn from them, we've grown. So anytime there's a problem, we know that we'll be stronger on the other side of it. So rather than feel down about it, we battle through it, work through it in some way, feeling good about it. So the thing that gave us the permission, as you say, was, well, in 10 years' time, hopefully, we'll still be here. And I'd rather be doing this than that. So how do I piece a way to it? If I say no, then I'm cutting it off. But if I say yes, then I'm on my way.
One of the things I'm probably, when I reflect on this year so far, one of the things I'm probably most proud of is in March, when the world was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. We all of a sudden stagnated. We launched beginning of January 2019. We got up to about 200 people using the platform by about March this year, and it was sort of stagnating, and marketing had stopped working, and we didn't really know why. And of course, like everything was changing like on a minute by minute basis. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of is that we got together as a team and we said, the world is changing so much that must mean that there's new opportunities, new problems to solve, right? New ways to help people, like to help people. When everything is the same, you can always innovate and optimize, but like when everything's changing, all of a sudden there's brand new problems to solve. It's an entrepreneur's dream, really, and it didn't feel like that at all. But with hindsight, it was obvious. And then we've grown the community to over 1,000 people since that. So we've really grown. And I believe it was that meeting where we chose to see this like really horrific situation as, no, there's new problems to solve. This is an opportunity. Let's rethink. And it was that mindset that led to, us making the changes we needed to make to then serve more people at a deeper level. So yeah, I fully agree with that mindset thing and figuring out when you hit a problem, how do I overcome this? How do I come through stronger?
Absolutely. It's too easy to no happens all the time. You mentioned this in your training, Dan. no happens all the time, but you only need one big yes to change what's going on. And if you're saying no yourself, that yes won't happen.
Yeah, you've already, you may as well stop there. If you're saying no yourself, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and also, so we've had some massive success with so many of our students. A student of ours, Harley, has had the biggest selling dance single in the UK this year, which is fantastic. Awesome student of ours, Sophie Morgan, singer-songwriter. I did an interview with her the other day, and I was talking about her singer-songwriter experiences. You know, what did she get out of not, I mean, obviously lockdown and COVID's been a terrible thing, but how did she find the whole process of songwriting and the things that we taught her along the way? And she said, it's building the den. The fun isn't playing in the den at the end, it's building the den. And she said, and all this at the moment is building the den, but by having a vision of yes and positivity and so on, then you know, they say so often that success is the journey, not the destination, and providing that you have a clear goal and follow Dan's advice, my friends, all of you out there in Passion Land. He's a good lad. Should listen to
him. What you mentioned earlier that that you've been working on creating training for a long time, and then you said that you had some takeaways from going through this training. I'm very curious because, of course, I work a lot of my time on creating this training and trying to figure out how I can have the biggest impact. What for you were the most challenging moments, the most enjoyable moments, and what were your key takeaways from that whole journey?
To be honest, I mean, I enjoy all of it. Don't worry, I can be more specific than that. Okay, I do enjoy it. In fact, although I'm in here working all the time, the bulk of what I've been doing more recently is the passion stuff and the building and so on and so forth. What a great thing for our students. You know, that's the thing that I'm enjoying. The fact that, yes, I learn some stuff and then I implement that stuff. But what's firing up here all the time is, wow, our students are going to, and so on and so on and so on. So, you know, what am I enjoying the most? The process by creating a product that is of massive use to our students and future students. You know, this is why I'm so passionate. This is why, you know, I remember posting that I felt a little bad in some ways about the fact that you'd asked us to ring the bell. You know, you'd asked us to share your success. And you see so many of our friends in Passionland who weren't quite experiencing that success just yet. But I was ringing the bell as much as anything from the perspective of, we've got more guys here who are going to be able to benefit from this. And when you look at the cost of the potential cost of everything that we created, and you think, this is worth thousands. You know, we costed it out, and we reckoned that the value of the product that we were giving was £1,480. Dan, realistically, so much more than that. You know, it's easy £2,000's worth, and they were getting it for like 20% of the cost. But what a fab thing, because of the way that it's built, we can genuinely put it across as that mega offer. And this wasn't a sales tactic. It just came out in the first conversation, and it just stuck then. But I did say on the discovery calls, I did say, look, if it fits you guys, fantastic. If it doesn't fit, then why would you want to do it anyway? But the bit that the children will like, the bit that the student will like, because it works for all ages, the bit that the student will like is the benefit to you, because it's awesome and you're going to really enjoy it. And the benefit for whoever's paying the bill is that it's 20% of the cost. And there is a catch. I flipped it round. I said to there is a catch. There is a catch. We just want you to tell us how much you enjoyed it at the end. And so therefore, we want to make sure that you do enjoy it and get what we say out of it. And then it's a win-win all around. With regards,
awesome.
I have to tell you about the challenge, because there was one bit,
please.
Dan, where my heart sank. Oh,
please.
And it was the bit in the training where it comes quite early on. It comes in about you'll know, what, day 4, day 5 or something maybe, where it suddenly dawned on me that this awesome thing that we were going to build, we would then actually have to go and sell. And I know it sounds daft. I know it sounds, well, obviously, of course, why would you not? And the moment when you mention for the first time and you're going to make these calls, I remember thinking, oh, no, all of a sudden now this huge positive creative spirit that wants to do these awesome things for these music students all over the world was now going to have this sales thing. And I remember thinking, oh no, that sounds daunting. Dan, it's the bit I enjoy the most now, because it's gone from thing that I dread having to do to now connecting with those people. You get on the Zoom call and I'm buzzing. I mean, I think this is one of the reasons why we've got 26 out of 25 sales. Those poor people on the end of that Zoom line, where I'm going, oh my, wait till you see what I've got for you. I'll have to stop drinking coffee. That's what it was to do.
That is so awesome. What do you think? I'm taking a note as you're saying this, to play this part of the podcast in the Expert Unleashed Challenge at the moment I tell people that you're going to sell. I'm going to say, like, you're going to have to sell, and you're probably thinking you're hating that. David was dreading that as well, and then it was his favorite part. So I'm already taking that note. But what do you think I could say to people at that point that would actually help them understand what you now understand, which is that you will enjoy it?
The focus has, as I perhaps mentioned before, the focus has to be not on what you are building. The focus has to move away from the creator's fears, and you have to focus on the awesome journey that your students will have. The focus has to be on their final goal. We talk, and you do this, Dan. You do it so beautifully. The only thing that I've pieced together, perhaps differently, is I guess in so many ways the thing that this is my origin story. My origin story about music theory was that when I was a kid, I was terrible at music theory. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. What was happening was I was having to decode what was being presented to me in a way that I could then make sense of it myself. And then when I started teaching, I realized that I was teaching how I had learnt it, not how I had been taught it, if that makes sense. And by extrapolation, what's happening now is you're teaching us the absolute awesome core content. We now, as students of yours, must take that information and now adapt it into our niche. We have to think about those end results. That's what I get fired up about. I'm not selling them anything. What I'm doing is I'm just facilitating this A to B. You need look at this. And it sounds so cheesy and it sounds so salesy, but it's not. It's not. Dan, if you were a rabbit who'd never seen carrots before, and now you've got some farmer guy going, look, carrots.
Yeah.
The rabbit's straight on it. This is great. And
I'm always asking myself what word we can use that isn't selling, because it's got such negative connotations. And I'm right there with you. My favorite thing is talking to people, and I don't see it any. If I'm presenting an offer to someone or not, I don't actually see it any different. I'm probably more excited when I do have an offer, because I know that I can impact them at a deeper level over the next, months, whatever it is. But I'm always asking myself, what word can I use that's not selling?
I see us as very much facilitating. The process between where they are now, where they need to be. And we are genuinely helping. we're trying to do a good thing. It's one of the
Yeah.
one of the places where the name Presto came from in the first place. Presto, as I'm sure you might know as a musician, Dan, Presto is the Italian term, the musical term for it's a tempo direction. It tells you to play fast. And so there is a speed connotation, but also the magic element as well. We say that our students make such magical, speedy progress. It's as if magic was involved. So we're facilitators. You know, we lock into how people learn, and so learning style's a big part of it as well.
I love it. This has been so fascinating for me, partially as a musician who started playing drums when I was 8 years old, and I never really got particularly interested in or good at music theory, and that probably held me back from progressing further than I did.
Dan, I know a very good app that would help you. Yeah.
I know. It's never too late. Yeah, and so it's been fascinating for me from that perspective, and thinking about how you can, how if this existed when I was in that stage, but even now, and seeing how that you could actually bring other people like me further if it was there, you know, when I was in that stage, is fascinating. But also what I love is your positive energy. I was watching a film, it was last night and the night before, called Patch Adams. Have you seen it?
Is it Robin Williams?
It's Robin Williams.
I haven't seen it. I know of it, but I've not seen it.
Yeah. So it's a fantastic film. So Robin Williams plays someone who tries to commit suicide. He self-admits himself to a psychiatric ward. He doesn't get any help at all from the doctors, but he finds that by helping other people in the psychiatric ward, he finds that he can, it helps him overcome his trauma and his pain, right? And then he checks himself out, and he decides he's going to become a doctor so he can help people, you know, and because that will in the end help him, right? And as I'm watching this film, the one thing that kept going through my head the whole time was, oh God, this guy has got such positive energy. Like, he's like magnetic. Robin Williams, the character he plays, like he's just magnetic. Everyone in the film is just so obvious that, like, when you're around this guy, you know he's going somewhere and you want to be on that journey with him. And it was like very inspiring, but also it made me a little bit sad. I felt like, oh, I don't have that charisma. Like, I don't feel like I can do that, and I want to do that. And then but my reflection on that whole thing, and especially after this conversation with you, is it's a choice. You said in the beginning of this conversation, it's hard to consistently put out a positive message to the world. It is hard, but it's also a choice. You know, we can decide that we're going to see failure or challenges in a certain light. We can decide that we're going to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. That's up to us, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. The one thing that it doesn't annoy me. I am aware of this. I'm aware of it so often. You say to people, "How are you?" and they go, "I'm all right." And you, oh, why? Why would people do that? I must be the most annoyingly happy and chirpy person that people know, whether I feel it or not. Because when people say, "How you doing?" "Awesome. How are you?" "I'm fantastic. I'm feeling really, really good." No, I try not to be as cheesy and happy as that. But even though this interview might show otherwise, but the point is that yes, I'm great, I'm fantastic, and then by virtue of the fact that I'm picking myself up, in turn it picks them up, and then that conversation has a positive spin, and then who knows where that's going to lead.
Yeah, that's right. It's having that yes mentality going in. I love that so much. Thank you so much, David. I can see everyone here loved it. Mary said such a great interview, and she says share instead of sell, because then it takes on a more generous mindset, which I also love. Leah's loving it. Kaza, Lee, and Andy and Thomas, like, it's been awesome. Thank you so much. Really, really enjoyed it. And where can we keep in touch? Where can people find you? Or is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I mean, please do check out Presto Music School on Facebook. It'd be good to see everybody there. And of course, the website, Presto Music School. But Facebook is a good hub for these kind of things. If you want to see where the cartoon is up to, please do check that out at rhythmwarriors.com.
Nice.
Dan's checking it out as we speak.
I am.
You probably might recognize the hair design in the particularly handsome lead character. Can I just say as well that I didn't design that bit. The studio just sent that over at one point. And I said, I recognize that hair. And they said, what, do you think we've been looking at your T-shirt all this time?
Wow.
That's
so
about
cool.
it, yeah.
Guys, I need to, before we wrap this up, I need to show people this. Hang on.
All right.
I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Woohoo!
Oh my word. That is so awesome. Tell me, who are these characters?
Okay, so the purple girl, that is Tabitha. She is the pilot of Arena 51, the Rhythm Warriors ship, and she's the lead guitarist and loudmouth. On drums there, we've got Groover, international airhead and nutter. We've got Low Note on bass at the back there.
Low Note.
Yeah. Actually, interesting, Lono, Lono, is a Hawaiian deity of music. And so we just extended that as a low note. We've got Jojo front and off to the left there playing keyboards. She's the singer-songwriter. And Tom, bottom right-hand corner there. And it's basically the whole show is the exploits of Tom and Jojo and the rest of the Rhythm Warriors as they head around Rhythmos, a fantastical far off land that has musical energy as the thing that keeps the planet healthy. There's a very strong message about the whole show. We have to do our best at all times. You cannot be in a band if you do not work as a team. And as music has been banned on Rhythmos, so the energy of the land is falling. There's a subtle ecology message in there. We've got to work together to save our planet.
Wow, that is so awesome. You know, when I was a kid, the film that I completely loved was School of Rock.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because that was my generation, and God, I would have absolutely loved this, and I'm sure I am going to absolutely love this. You know, as a 28-year-old as well.
Yeah. If you click on the video link, you'll be able to see a little bit of the trailer there too.
Oh, awesome, guys! Check it out. It's rhythmwarriors.com. David, thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you for your time.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much.
You too.
Cheers, Dan.
Cheers.